Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting video. If you like this video, make sure to hit it up with a like and also make sure to hit up our channel and subscribe. We have plenty of content ranging all the way from Dragon Ball Super to Skullgirls, college life vlogs, things of that nature. So if any of that interests you, including nerd news and more Young Justice content, feel free to hit up our channel. Now jumping in, new images have been released showing off the Young Justice Outsiders team. As many of you know, Young Justice has received a third season, which will come out in 2018 on DC's new streaming service, which will also include a live-action Teen Titans series. Young Justice Outsiders hasn't revealed too much information as of yet, but we do have these character redesigns as well as a few classic designs that are familiar, as well as new characters entirely. Let's go left to right and name all the characters, and then we'll look at some higher quality zoomed in pictures of these characters and have a more of a breakdown analysis. So here we have Static Shock. We have, oh, by the way, spoilers, of course, if you have not seen Young Justice Season 1 and Season 2. We have Static Shock. We have the new Kid Flash, who is Impulse from the original Young Justice Season 2 team. We have Red Robin, Tim Drake Robin. We have Wonder Girl, Spoiler, who's new to the series. We have Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle. We have Tracy 13, who's new to the series. We have Arrowette. We have Arsenal. And we have Beast Boy. Now, let's jump in and talk about Static real quick, who is the first coming in from the left, and how he has had a redesign. So here on the left is how Static looked in earlier seasons of Young Justice, and here is how Static looks now in Young Justice Season 3. So they kind of kept this motif going with the yellow stripes down on the black, but rather than just wear the hoodie that he has in this image, he wears a blue vest on top of it, where before he wore a blue shirt under. He also has the classic Static Shock symbol, but you can tell it's on a black hoodie, not on a black shirt, as it used to look in the original Static Shock series. Other than that, it looks like a lot of his design is the same. The belt buckle looks sleek. It's more of a solid, smaller, rectangular square. They also decided to ditch the blue baseball cap. I personally like the baseball cap. I also personally like the dreads. The dreads are more of a cornrows thing now on the character, which is fine. They're changing things up, and they shaved the side of his head. You also notice that Beast Boy has a shaved side of his head as well. But I imagine he'll use the hoodie more in Season 3, whereas he had the baseball cap in previous seasons. Personally, I like the redesign. We don't have a lot of good images of Static Shock from the earlier seasons, so it's good that we get a good image in the promotional material. This also shows that Static may have a bigger focus in this series, as in the previous series they were trying to introduce his character, but now he is more of a staple member of the team. And keep in mind, he was officially indoctrinated into Young Justice in the final episode of the second season. So it took him a while to get here, but now that he is a member of the team, I'm just excited to see what they do with him, and I do appreciate the redesign. I feel like they're doing the character justice. Moving forward, here is a zoomed in image of the team, looking at some of the redesigns. Red Robin, his redesign seems like rather basic. It's not like they took huge steps with him. Now, I could be wrong with assuming this is Red Robin. I feel like it's close enough to his design in Season 2, but as far as we know, this could be a different Robin. I feel like it is Red Robin, though, but what do you guys think? Post in the comment section below. You may have differing ideas. Here we have Impulse as Kid Flash, and you can see that his suit has also been redesigned. Again, spoilers for previous seasons, but we lost the original Wally Kid Flash at the end of Season 2, and then Impulse took on the role. Impulse, I feel, after losing Wally, and this is speculation, wanted to not only carry on the name of Kid Flash, but also to put his own spin on it, considering that Impulse has his own style. I like what they did with it. He kept the open mouth piece, but he has this like goggle setup. The older Kid Flash had goggles on the top of his head, as you can see up here in this image. But here it's more like a visor style design. This even looks like it may be a knob where maybe he can turn it to flash the visor up or down. I do like it. It's sleek. Do I like it more than the old Kid Flash suit? Not really. I feel like it fits Impulse better. Like it goes with how Impulse is as a character. But I don't think the design is necessarily better than the original design. So yeah, in other words, I feel like it fits the character well, but it isn't a cooler design than what we had before. I think Red Robin's redesign is fine. I don't think they took any harsh jumps with it, but I do enjoy the dark colors. You can see this design for Dick Grayson Robin up here was like a more colorful suit, but this Tim Drake design with the hood and the darker colors really shows more of like a stealth tactical aspect, and I really do think that that is a solid setup. Here is another zoomed in picture. This is carrying right where the last image left off, and we have Wonder Girl. Wonder Girl doesn't seem like she's had a heavy redesign. If there are changes, they're not things that are really like popping out to me, where I'm like, whoa, you know, they really changed this up. But I like her design, and I don't feel like she really needed a big change unless she was going to go through a really big character development in the next season. Here we have Spoiler. Okay, so Spoiler is her name. She is Stephanie Brown. She is one of the only female Robins that's been a thing. With the New 52, Stephanie Brown is a female Robin. I don't think it's still a concept. I think in the New 52, she eventually ended up taking up the reign of Spoiler once again. But she is a rather interesting character. Definitely make sure to look her up if you haven't heard of her before. I honestly hadn't heard of Spoiler before until I read through a Batman encyclopedia. I once sat down and just like cracked the book open and read from like cover to cover. But I remember her character sticking out, and I remember there's a bunch of protests to try and get Stephanie Brown back into the comics that involve shipping raw Eggo waffles to the DC Comics headquarters. So that's rather interesting. But it's great to see a fan favorite, Stephanie Brown, make her way into Young Justice Season 3. Here we have Jaime Reyes, and again, I feel like the Blue Beetle, like Wonder Girl, didn't have a huge design change. He still looks like the Blue Beetle that we know and love. And next to him is Tracy 13, who is another new character to the series. Like before, when I was talking about new characters, Tracy 13 is one where I saw them and I actually had no idea who that was. I had to look up who Tracy 13 was from scratch, and I actually really like her character. She comes from a family of skeptics when it comes to like magic and the occult, but her mom actually practices magic herself. So she has learned magic from her mom and has learned how to use this magic. Her magic focuses on cities, like feeling the energy of a city, seeing auras and seeing magical creatures in a city. She has a very similar concept to Juniper Lee, if you ever watch that series on Cartoon Network, in which she can see magical creatures that other people can't see, and how she has a talking creature that's like a pet. She has a pet iguana, and she can use her magic to turn into a dragon. Whether or not all these elements will be carried over to Young Justice Season 3 are debatable, because, you know, this could be a reimagining of the character. Just how Virgil Hawkins' Static Shock is different in Young Justice. They reimagined how he got his powers through interactions with the alien race that comes in Static Shock. They could change Tracy 13 in a number of ways, but it's interesting to see her instead of Zatanna. I think Zatanna has moved on to the Justice League as like a full-on member. So that, or she's just not in this image. But I feel like Tracy 13 may be taking the place of Zatanna as the magical character. I also just noticed that they put a 13 on her arm. Her design seems very paramilitary. Like, she doesn't have a colorful superhero setup like Wonder Girl or Spoiler, for example, to the side. It's very casual, to be honest. Like, she could blend into a crowd better than, say, Wonder Girl with her Lasso or Spoiler with her full-on practically ninja getup. So I like how simplistic it is. I feel like it really makes her stand out in a crowd of very colorful heroes. So this isn't the full lineup as you saw, but getting zoomed in images of these guys, it seems like people haven't worked to make a zoomed in image of them. Like I found the other images just on Google, but these guys didn't come up. Arsenal, his design looks pretty much the same as before, and I'm saving Arrowette for the very end. Arsenal, his design looks, it looks about the same as before. Again, nothing stood out to me for Arsenal's design having been changed. Beast Boy, which I really do wish they had a better image of Beast Boy for me to show you guys. I can try and zoom in a little bit manually. See what I can do there. Not much better. I mean, not much worse either. So Beast Boy has a shaved edge on the side, and his hair kind of spikes up in the front. I do feel like that's very marketable. I see a lot of young people with like haircuts like that, and I feel like they're trying to appeal to that audience with Beast Boy. Beast Boy was one of the younger members of Young Justice beforehand, so to have him take on like a more youthful teen appearance, I feel like really fits him. It's edgier than how he looked before. Like just the hairstyle change is enough to make Beast Boy feel like a cooler character than he was previously. Like a more edgy, older character. So I'm glad that they're showing the fact that he is aging over time and maturing in this visible way that we can see. Other than that, we've kind of already seen his changeling outfit before, but it's cool that he has a changeling outfit rather than a Doom Patrol outfit, which is what we're used to from the Teen Titans cartoon. It makes him more of a independent character than just like a team player. It's also interesting to see him on a poster not next to Miss Martian. It's also interesting to take in that a lot of the main characters that we've seen on older Young Justice posters are not on this poster, and it's really showing off how the team has come into its own, how this is like a new era of Young Justice. I mean, there are an assortment of characters from previous seasons who are not on this poster. For example, Superboy is not featured on the poster. Dick Grayson's Nightwing is not featured on the poster, nor is Miss Martian featured on the poster. And I feel like that should be acknowledged as well, that while these are the characters that are being spotlighted for us, they're, of course, not the entire cast of Young Justice as we know it. And what are they planning to do with those characters? I feel like those are all thoughts that we should consider in our minds. Also, with the new live-action Teen Titans series that's coming out, they may be trying to push away from characters that they know are in both series. For example, Dick Grayson is going to be in the live-action Teen Titans series, so maybe they want to push away from having like multiple Dick Graysons playing really big roles in both series. You know what I mean? We know that Starfire and Raven are going to be in the new live-action Teen Titans series. So maybe due to that, Starfire and Raven did not make appearances in the Young Justice Outsiders team. That's just speculation on my part, but I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section below about whether or not you feel that may be the case. Moving on, we're going to talk about Arrowette, who I personally have not done a lot of research on, and they didn't have a very good zoomed-in image of Arrowette. So here's an image of Arrowette. What I found really interesting about her is this quote right here. An expert archer, she consistently uses net arrows to capture her prey, appears to have ties, romantic or otherwise, to Impulse, motivated to prove herself to her mother, the first Arrowette, who is under psychiatric evaluation. Now, all of that is actually really interesting to take in, especially when you find that Arrowette has a common tie to the other new female characters that have been introduced. And you may be wondering, what is this common tie? What ties Arrowette to Tracy 13 to Spoiler? And how does this all come together with the new Young Justice Season 3? Now, Tracy 13 in the comics has been a romantic interest of Blue Beetle, having them date. And Tracy 13 even denies joining the Teen Titans in the comics because she finds it odd to be on the same superhero team as her boyfriend. Spoiler in the comics was a romantic interest of Tim Drake, which is fascinating because Young Justice Season 2 ended with Tim Drake and Cassandra Wonder Girl getting together. And I feel like that's going to break off in Season 2. Again, that's speculation. I feel like due to the heat of the moment of what happened at the end of Season 2, they decided to get together as like a YOLO thing. But then over time, they'll realize that they're more friends than anything else. And then we'll get to see Tim Drake and Spoiler have a romantic interest, or even see conflict between Wonder Girl and Spoiler over Tim Drake. I'm not saying they have to do like a weird love triangle thing, but the comic book romantic ties I don't think will be fully ignored in the show. Again, what are your thoughts on a possible love triangle between Red Robin, Wonder Girl, and Spoiler? Please hit us up in the comment section below. Love to hear your thoughts. And Arrowette having a possible connection to Impulse, who is the new Kid Flash, would be really interesting to see as well. They put Arrowette next to Arsenal, and those two are very similar Archer-based characters, and they seem to both have some kind of tragic backstory, especially with the part that we read about her mother being under psychiatric evaluation kind of thing. You know, if they carry that onto the show, we could see two tragic characters meeting each other and maybe seeing some connection with one another. But again, that's speculation. They could also have a love triangle between Arrowette, Arsenal, and Kid Flash as another possible option for the show. So what are your thoughts on the speculation that I have about these different love triangles? Hit us up in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video where we took time to analyze the different character redesigns and new characters that have been introduced. If you like this video, make sure to like this video, favorite, comment, subscribe, and check out our channel and some of our related channels to the side for more nerd news, Dragon Ball Super, Yu-Gi-Oh, Skullgirls, college vlogs, etc. Thank you all once again and have a fantastic night. This is your host, Jet Black, logging out.